Welcome all to PLUTUS IAS. Today we are going to do the prelims analysis for EPFO. The exam was held on Sunday and we'll be doing the section-wise analysis. First, I'm going to cover geography and environment. The questions which came from them are very less, but again we have to do the analysis of that. So let's come to the question first. Okay, so the first question that they have is which one of the following are the primary reactants of the photochemical smoke? The options they have given is sulfur hexafluoride and soot, B is carbon monoxide and ozone, C nitric oxide and unburnt hydrocarbon, and D peroxy radicals and suboxides. Now if you have done your environment very well, then you know there are two types that we have, the photochemical one and the one that we have discussed in the environment photochemical, that is the lighter one, because these are the one which are taking place in the presence of light, right? So these smokes result from the chemical reaction in atmosphere involving sunlight. This is what I was talking about, light, sunlight. It happens lot many times in the places like London, right? You will be able to find all of them. And the key precursor or the primary reactants are nitric oxide, which is your NOx, and the unburnt hydrocarbons like VOC, your volatile organic compounds. So these substances react together in presence of solar radiation to form secondary pollutants. So primary pollutants are which are coming out of the primarily from the usage of some of the things. For example, then when your two chemicals combine, your primary pollutants combine, they create what? Secondary pollutants. Secondary pollutants like ozone and peroxyacyl nitrates. Now when I talk about ozone, this ozone is a bad ozone, O3, which is present on the earth's, on the surface, in the atmosphere of the earth. So there are two types of ozone that we can talk here. So do not get confused. This O3 which they are talking is a bad ozone which is found on the troposphere, right? They are found in the troposphere, and another O3 that is a good ozone, it is found in the stratosphere, which protects us from the sunlight. Okay? So this is the thing, and if you would have not known the answer also, then through the elimination you could have done that. That sulfur hexafluoride, which is a SF6, they are not there. Soot is not the real cause for the photochemical. Then peroxy radicals and suboxides, not at all. Then you have carbon monoxide, CO plus ozone. No, because you have seen that they are there, but as a secondary pollutants. O3 and peroxyl is nitrates, they are the secondary pollutants. And then the left one would be your nitric oxide and unburnt hydrocarbons, which is a VOC, or volatile organic compounds. Now coming to the next question which we have is primary environmental concern of permafrost thawing. Now this was a question which has come in 2025 prelims of CAC, and if you have seen my analysis for that too, I have discussed about the permafrost thawing a lot many times. There is a video also on PLUTUS IAS of the permafrost thawing. So what is that? So because of the climatic change, what is happening, the glaciers are getting melted, and because of this the soil is coming out, your new soil, your primary soils, the regions are coming out. And what is happening because of that? The albedo effect, which is very helpful through the ice caps, they are getting reduced, and when they are getting reduced, it is further increasing the and worsening the climatic conditions in the polar region and otherwise also. So primary environmental concern of permafrost thawing is, if you have seen directly, it is this, your methane and CO2. Methane is again a greenhouse gas which we call it as CH4, and this CH4 is released because of the lot of anthropogenic activities. And apart from that, in your cultivated crops also, for example paddy, these are the main sources of the methane release. Now methane release and carbon dioxide, they both are extremely important gas. Why? Because obviously CO2 is required for the survival, but itna zyada agar CO2 hoga, so what will happen? It will lead to the rise, and that's why we have the different kind of agreements like Paris agreements, etc., for the uh, for to keep a cap of the release of CO2. Now let's see at the explanation of this release of methane and CO2. Melting permafrost releases methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. Okay. Coming to the next question, what determine the hardness index of the fresh water? So whenever you will see a fresh water, they will have the different kind of components. Your fresh water, brackish water, saline water, they all are different form of water, and you calculate the salinity of all of them through the measurement. For example, 35 per million parts, that is in which category you will put them into. So the more salt content means they are more brackish or towards saline, and if they are having the less salt content, definitely they are the fresh water. Now if you see the fresh water, the concentration of Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus is definitely more, right? So hardness of them depends upon the two important factor, which is calcium and magnesium ions. Let's see other options also. pH difference. What is a pH difference? That is the acidity and basicity. Do you really think acidity and basicity is making a difference? Although yes, sometimes they are the factors, but see the question what they are asking. They are asking about the hardness index. That was the question. If you look at the hardness index, then definitely Ca plus Ca calcium and magnesium ions. Then look at another option, pH at room temperature, not at all irrelevant. Then ratio of DTO and H2O. This is deuterium, this is water. No, not at all. This is also irrelevant. If you would have not known the direct answer also, then to the elimination technique, you could have done the, you can reach out to the good answer, like what is the right answer, you can reached out to that. Okay, so these are the certain questions which have come this time in the EPFO 2025 examination. And for the people who are preparing and who are willing to prepare for EPFO, UPSC, or for the UPSC examination, they can come and contact to PLUTUS IAS for any guidance they need, any relevance, any kind of a test series they need. So they can definitely come to the PLUTUS, and for other guidance also you can see our website and check out our social media platforms, and do contact the PLUTUS IAS for any guidance if you need further. So next section wise analysis will be done by the respective faculties. Thank you so much.
Hello student, today I am going to tell the EPFO analysis. Now the part of history and freedom struggles. First slide. Goodman rebellion, Visakhapatnam. There was a feudal affinity of the Mutadar with the uh, Bupati families and placing the ex-Jamidar family on the Golconda. The answer was first and second. Consider the following statement. Second question is right in the chronological order of the rebellions. Deccan Revolt, Santhal Rebellion, Khanwar Movement, and Rampa Rebellion. Answer was 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the right answer. Now next question is in question paper it was 102 Home Rule Movement HM. HRF, the advocate used the constitutional method and Tilak and Annie Besant and the league cooperated with the Besant Besant and conformed to the Bombay and Central Province. Right answer was according to a EPFO A means 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Annie Besant conform was not right answer. Now, as per the EPFO question 103 freedom struggle 1920 to 1935. Statement was NCM in Bihar, Bengal due to the peasants' participation. Bihar, next was Bihar organized under Kisan Sabha. Third was Mindapur, Bengal, peasants relayed under the Birendranath Sasmal. Answer was 1, 2, and 3. All was correct. So answer is A. Now, next part is art and culture of EPFO. First, 104 EPFO. Date 2nd century BC and 2nd century and the 2nd century. See analysis, speech, music, gesture, and mime. Ground covered less than Aristotle and the poetic. Answer was 1, 2, 3 means all of the above. Next question was 105 Bhimbetka art and art. Who discovered the Bhimbetka art? Direct answer was B.S. Vagnakar. Next slide is last 108 Maya Buddhism. Answer was statement according to what the female deities were the saviors and embodying virtues and Praja Paramita visualized in a feminine form. Mother of all Buddha. Answer was all of the above. These were the questions of history, art and culture in APFO. Thank you. ठीक है.
So hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing जो EPFO Employees Provident Fund Organization का quality and governance के related जितने भी questions आए थे, we'll try to discuss them in the time that has been allotted to us. We'll try to do justice to that. So polity and governance is emerging as a very viable or very relevant in every exam, whichever exam you take across the length and breadth of the country. So without further ado, let's start with polity and governance analysis from the headquarters of PLUTUS IAS right here in Delhi. तो सबसे पहला जो था वो क्वेश्चन था with regards to which of the following statements are correct. Now we talked about Chief Justice of India is the highest administrative officer of the Supreme Court of India. इनमें से आपको देखना था कौन सा सही है. Administrative powers of for determining the work structure of the Supreme Court and its registry are exclusively vested in the Chief Justice of India. A person who has been a judge of the Supreme Court of India can practice after retirement only in the Supreme Court of India and not in any other court within India. और option 4 जो था वो था statement 4 जो था वो था a designated senior advocate of the Supreme Court of India is not entitled to appear in the Supreme Court of India without an advocate on record. This was question number 109. And the correct answer for it is B, 1, 2, and 3. Let me mark it here for you. And the correct answer is 1, 2, and 3, which was option B. Now, question number 110. 110 जो था, it talked about considering the following statements. Again, ये तभी possible था जब आपने understand किया हो subject को in depth. Supreme Court of India और High Court जो है उनको exclusively original jurisdiction होती है disputes between two states, दो या दो से ज़्यादा states. दूसरा statement था Supreme Court of India, High Court and District Courts have the power to issue writs. हम जानते हैं कि exclusive ये हाई कोर्ट्स का पावर है, वो आर्टिकल 32 के अंडर रिट्स इशू कर सकते हैं. सो ये ऑप्शन जो है ये ठीक नहीं है. चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट हैज एब्सोल्युटली नो रोल इन द एंटायर अपॉइंटमेंट प्रोसेस ऑफ हाई कोर्ट जजेस. एंटायरली नो रोल नॉट पॉसिबल. उसका रोल है टू सम एक्सटेंट, बहुत लिमिटेड रोल है, बट रोल है दैट ही रिकमेंड्स the name to the governor और governor बाद में उसको आगे forward करता है to the center government. तो रोल तो है, ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल रोल नहीं है, रोल तो है. जो local customs है and conventions which do not contradict a statute or the constitution are recognized and taken into account by courts while administering justice in certain spheres. Now ये बड़ा peculiar point है समझने के लिए कि हाँ, although we have rule of law in our country where constitutional law is the supreme law, then laws made by the parliament, they are to be enforced across the length and breadth of the country, and जो आपका judiciary है that is responsible for implementing those laws. मगर क्या लोकल कस्टम्स और कन्वेंशंस जो कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट नहीं करेंगे लॉ को, उसको कंसिडर किया जाता है? हाँ, बिल्कुल उनको कंसिडर किया जाता है. जुडिशरी उनको कंसिडर करती है क्योंकि वो उनको कस्टम्स और जो लोगों के कल्चर्स होते हैं वो उनको बेसिस ऑफ द रूल ऑफ लॉ समझती है. रूल ऑफ लॉ उनके लिए है, तो जो वो चीजें जो कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट नहीं करती है उनको कंसिडर किया जाता है. दैट इज व्हाई the correct answer is answer 3. You get it? क्योंकि जो तीसरा जो ऑप्शन है चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ द स्टेट हैज एब्सोल्युटली नो पावर, तो वो सही नहीं है. he has or she has powers. Now coming back to the next question, which is question 111. ये है consider the following statements about electronic voting machines, EVMs जो हैं, जिसके बारे में now you expected, one would expect these questions. आप UPSC में भी इसको expect कर सकते हैं because EVMs are the talk of the town and elections and voting. Consider questions related to these aspects in one way or the other. So ये expected था कि elections पे और voting पे question आएगा ही आएगा. Now consider question है, consider the following statements about electronic voting machines in India. तो पहला जो statement है वो है the first use of EVMs in a Lok Sabha election was in the year 2004, which is right, when EVMs were deployed nationwide. Although जो electronic voting machines है उनको कमीशन किया गया था 1989 में, उनको कमीशन किया इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने और इंटरेस्ट किया बेल को भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड को और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया लिमिटेड को. तो number 2 option is votes are recorded in control units and VVPATs at exactly the same time. Now ये समझने की बात है, this is the exclusion method which you will have to use ऐसे वाले questions में. I'll just tell you how. So option 3rd is 2 PSUs, namely Bharat Electronics Limited and Electronics Corporation of India Limited, have been engaged in the Electronic Commission by the Election Commission of India to design and manufacture the EVMs. Now we know, अब जब options की तरफ हम जाते हैं, options में जो इनने statements दिए हैं वो 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3 and 3 only. एक चीज यहां अच्छे से समझना, जो option 2 है, votes are recorded in control units and VVPATs at exactly the same time. Although they are recorded at the same time, but they are not recorded exactly at the same time. Now ये वो चीज है जो इस आंसर को आपको eliminate exactly wrong options को eliminate करने में help करेगा. Although they are, क्योंकि आपको सिर्फ स्टेटमेंट्स को नहीं देखना होगा, आपको उसके साथ ऑप्शंस को देखना होगा. सो ऑप्शंस में जो सेकंड वाला ऑप्शन है वो कहीं भी 1 और 3 के साथ नहीं है, इसीलिए दे आर रिकॉर्डेड एट द सेम टाइम बट नॉट एग्जैक्टली एट द सेम टाइम. ये जो एग्जैक्टली वाला झोल खेला है इस क्वेश्चन पेपर पे, वो इसको डिवाइस करता है, वो इसको segregate करता है. Now that's why option C, 1 and 3. Now coming back to the next question, which of the following statements about National E-Vidhan application is correct? National E-Vidhan application, we already know कि National E-Vidhan application जो है वो बनाया गया है ताकि स्टेट की जो लेजिस्लेचर्स हैं और जो यूनियन टेरिटरी के लेजिस्लेचर्स है उनमें हैसल फ्री, पेपर फ्री जो क्राइटेरियाज हैं उनको फॉलो किया जाए. लेस डिपेंडेंस ऑन पेपर एंड मोर डिपेंडेंस ऑन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडियम्स, जिससे स्टोरेज भी अच्छे से हो, सॉर्टिंग भी अच्छे से हो, ग्रेडिंग भी अच्छे से हो और आपका जो हैसल फ्री वर्क हो वो प्रोसेस हो सके. उसके लिए नेशनल ई विधान एप्लीकेशन को लाया गया. सो जो पहला ऑप्शन है, इट्स अ मिशन मोड प्रोजेक्ट अंडर द डिजिटल इंडिया प्रोग्राम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. नेक्स्ट, this application is based on the principle of one nation, one application. Number 3, it has been developed by the Parliament Secretariat. Number 4, its core aim is for end-to-end digitalization of all the functions of the state legislature. 112 जो है इसका correct answer है 1, 2 and 4, B. So option B. Option B, 1, 2 and 4. 3 जो है option, it has been developed by the Parliament Secretariat. No, it has not been developed by the Parliament Secretariat. It has been developed by the National Informatics Center. So that's how you come to the conclusion. Now, next your question tha, that is 113. 113 jo hai, it talks about support for marginalized individuals for livelihood and enterprise. ये जो SMILE scheme थी, ये किसके लिए लाई गई? And we know that ये scheme लाई गई transgender लोगों के लिए और ये लाई गई उन लोगों के लिए जो बेग करते हैं, बेगिंग में इन्वॉल्व है. सो both the options, that's why the correct answer is both 1 and 2. Now next question जो था वो था 114. 114 जो है वो बात करता है consider the following statements. Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions, जिसको हम घनरी भी बोलते हैं, इसके related statements थे. It works in accordance with UN's United Nations का Paris Principles. Number 2, fully compliant and partially compliant members are accredited as A and B respectively. National third जो statement था वो है National Human Rights Commission NHRC जो इंडिया का है has been accredited, classified and it has been classified under A, category A in the year 2025, and the correct answer is C, 1, 2 and 3. So ये तीनों जो है they are the right answers. Now moving on to the next, which is 115. 115 जो है it talks about directive principles of state policy. I cannot find 115 question यहाँ पे. Give me a moment. Question number 115, there seems to be a mismatch here, but anyhow, we'll continue. जो directive principles of state policy है, उसके provisions में early childhood care and education up to 14 जो है, ये है directive principles of state policy का part. The states are, they have an, not necessarily an obligation, but they can take steps with respect to early childhood care. So promotion of international peace and security जो है, जो Article 51 of Indian Constitution है, तो उसके related भी provisions हैं which form a part of directive principles of state policy. Now there's another question about RTI. There seems to be a question, sorry for that. आपके लिए present करना एक hectic task होता है, but still we're trying our level best. 117 question number. There's a question mismatch, but I'd request, मैं जिस तरीके से अब इसको जा रहा हूँ, you cross check it based on that. जो RTI Act के related question था, Chief Information Commissioner or Information Commissioners, they are appointed by the President on CJI's recommendation, Chief Justice of India's recommendation. It is true. जो Chief Information Commissioner है, वो he is not eligible for reappointment, while others are. This is also true. This is same as in the case of UPSC and PSCs. You know, the members, the chairman is not eligible for reappointment, while as the members can be appointed as chairman. So on those lines, we have devised this. Contempt and advisory jurisdiction. Supreme Court can punish for contempt of itself. The next statement, Supreme Courts and High Courts have advisory jurisdiction. So yes, this is the basics of polity. कोई भी student जिसने थोड़ा सा भी seriousness से पढ़ा है, they know that both 1 and 2. So option C in this case is the right answer. So these were the questions that I intended to discuss with you. Thank you so very much, and best of luck.
Okay, so in that EPFO, which has just occurred, happened in the yesterday Sunday class, so we are going to discuss about the science and tech or the computer technology portions. Came in the those questions which came in the last EPFO paper. Okay, so the first question in that science and tech portion, that which one of the following with regard to the chat GPT is correct? Of course, this is one of the most expected question, as we know the use of the chat GPT is very frequently occurred in the time, and this is not something you can say the static or the core portion. This is a question which is most one of the more relevant topic. Okay, so which one of the following is with regard to the chat GPT is the correct? Okay, so it is based on the large language model first. It is a predictive artificial intelligence second. It is a high level scientific computer language, and third, it is a chatting software. This kind of question, of course, it can be seen a little bit confusing, but it is not actually. Why? If you even do not know the exact answer, you can just do the correct answer by the eliminating thing. Okay, suppose that if you are saying it is a chatting software, no, we do not chat with it, we just do a kind of thing. So because of that particular performer, of that particular demand of question or something, it gives us answer. So it is not the chatting software. This is correct, this is incorrect. It is a high level scientific computer language. Is it a computer language? No, of course. We know the basic thing about the chat GPT. Like chat GPT is one of the kind of the artificial intelligence which is actually giving the information or the knowledge by acquiring the so much by so much data already feed on it, right? So what is the basic use of the chat GPT? When you do the Google, right? So whatever the question you put in the Google, according to the already based information available on so many sites available on the Google, so many networking area, on the basis of that available information, it give you the answer. So that is the particular chat GPT. So it is not a language, it is not a chatting software, it is not a scientific computer language. Then it is not the predictive artificial intelligence. How you can say the predictive? It is not something predictive. We have just talked about it. It is something gives the information or the knowledge based on that already the data available on that particular networking site or the searching engine, right? So the first one is, it is based on the larger language model. Yes, that is absolutely correct answer, that it is based on that larger language model. Okay, second question, the consider the following statement regarding the SpaceX. Yes, of course, it is one of that most common thing occurred in that space technology, one of the most common topic, right? So about the SpaceX, of course, we know the basic background history about the SpaceX. First, the space exploration technology scope is commonly known as the SpaceX. Yes, that is a basic thing about the SpaceX, right? Then second, the Falcon is a space vehicle developed by the SpaceX. Okay, this is the first part. That's how you solve the question, by just breaking that particular statement into two separate things. Whereas a Dragon is developed by the NASA. Okay, so if you want to solve this question, first is absolutely correct. There is no doubt about it. In the second, the Falcon is SpaceX vehicle developed by the SpaceX. Yes, the first part of the second statement is absolutely correct. While the Dragon is developed by the NASA. No, Dragon is not developed by the NASA, while Dragon is also developed by the SpaceX. Okay, Dragon is also developed by the SpaceX. So of course that we do the question. यहाँ पे इसका first half is correct, while the second half is incorrect. So that means this question is this statement is incorrect. Okay, while this statement is correct. So what will be the answer? Which one of this statement is correct? Okay, so the correct statement is answer A only. Okay, do not get confused. Whenever you solve the question, just break that into two separate parts. That's how you solve the question. Okay, then the second, for training and the deploying complex models in artificial intelligence, which one is preferred? Okay, so the first is CPU, central processing unit. The second one is, sorry, my bad. The first one is CPU, central processing unit. The second one is GPU, graphic processing unit. The third one is random access memory, and the fourth one is motherboard. Okay, fine. The question is for training and deploying the complex model in AI intelligence. Of course, RAM is for surely no, that is random access memory that stores the data for that particular specific period of time. That is not even the long duration, right? Motherboard, we know the data storage something. Central processing unit is known as a master brain of that computer. Of course, this is not something, but it is here talking about the training and deploying complex model in that artificial intelligence. Even if you have confusion in it, you can simply think about the GPU. The correct answer is the graphic processing unit. Okay, that is something deploy for the training and the complex model in the artificial system. The second, yes, answer B is correct. GPU supports the fast parallel processing required for the AI training. CPU, motherboard, and your RAM does not involve in that particular kind of complex training and deploying complex model. Okay. Next question is which one of the following is a permanent memory of the computer? Oh, please, that is something we all know. Okay, this is something this is one of the very basic. If you have solved the PYQs of the EPFO examination, this question at least came 3 to 4 times already. So this is one of the most easy question. You cannot do the wrong about it. So answer is a hard disk, है ना? Following the permanent memory of the computer. Memory के ये हमें पता है. This is not, and the hard disk is the answer. Okay. Next question is about that. Which statements about the SSD are correct? Okay. So first of all, what is SSD? We need to know that SSD is a solid state drive. What is SSD? Solid state drive. Okay, so which spinning speed of SSD is 0. Yes, this is a two terms actually. If you have covered the computer portion from any book, so there's a two thing. The one is SSD and the second is HDD. That is hard drive. Okay, so the hard disk drive. There's two things which are generally read in the comparative. This is hard disk drive. Hard disk drive. These are the majorly two things. So what is the question? Which way number? The correct pucha hai. So spinning speed of SSD 0. Of course, we are going to talk about yes. SSD consumes more energy than HDD. No. SSD can be used as a virtual memory. Yes. SSD can be replaced a processor. Of course, no. Okay. So what is, as we can see, the solid state driver and the hard disk driver. So the second statement, the consumer more energy than SSD, that is absolutely wrong, because HDD consumes more energy than SSD. Why? Because SSD do not have that motor plate. Okay, it is very stable. It does not have the motor plate. It is not rotatory in function. The first and the देखो आप इसको कैसे solve कर सकते हो? First statement अगर आपको पता है the first statement is correct, then of course the second statement is absolutely wrong, because which is a system consuming more energy, that means it is something in that movable part, while the SSD does not have any movable part. Okay, so from here one is correct. Okay, so if you know the one is correct, you can just eliminate two options. Okay, simple. And you need to know that 3 is correct. SSD can be used as a virtual memory. Okay, 1 के साथ 4 का कहीं combination ही नहीं है, and for sure 1 is correct. Okay, so answer is B. Yes, SSD has no spinning parts and it can be act as a virtual memory, but it cannot replace the CPU, as this is a thing. Okay, next, SSL encryption stands for. It is one of the very basic topic of your computer whenever you cover the computer. SSL is simple, secure socket layer. Okay, SSL simple, secure socket layer. इसका full form पूछा था. SSL secure socket layer used in the secure website. Okay, generally used in those kind of website which जैसे कि sometime we use that some kind of website, उसमें पूछता है कि there is some kind of agreement, और आपसे पूछता है कि you are not human, you are not robot, just take something like that. Okay, so this is something about the secure socket layer. और layering होती है ना computer network में, when we talk about that layering, that is one of that concept. Okay, regarding the 2026 FIFA mentions World Cup. Okay, this is a core question of your current. FIFA में क्या हुआ था? USA, Mexico and the Canada will jointly host the event. Of course वहाँ पे हुआ था. USA कर रहा है, Canada कर रहा है, Mexico, North America की दोनों, USA, Canada and Mexico. ठीक है? So first statement of course it is correct. बहुत common news में था ये. 48 teams shall participate in the event. Both the statement are completely correct. क्या पूछा है? Correct पूछा है ना? Which of the following is the correct? Yes, both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. The second thing is that Prime Minister Prime Minister Petagontran Sinantwara was removed by the Thailand's constitutional court in 2025 over a leaked phone call with a senior statesperson of which country? Yes, this is one of the question which you can say a little bit difficult, because it is a little bit, you need to record a very specific thing for that. So yes, this was something. So आपने इसमें कौन से question is very easy to double? This is something I would say a little difficult. You can just simple. SSL भी ठीक है. 20 FIFA World Cup is also one of the doable question. Then SSD simple पूछा था SSD. If you have covered the basic computer thing, then you must have been covered that. ठीक है, SSD और SSD में पूछा था. Even the complex options are not that much complex. Then artificial intelligence में of course आप तीन इसमें easily eliminate कर सकते हो, because AI का use is specifically done in that GPU. ठीक है. Then which one of the following permanent memory? Of course, this is also one of the doable question. SpaceX हमें पता ही है. Dragon such kind of thing is not developed by the NASA or anything like that. This is also doable. And ChatGPT is of course one of the question. Okay. Thank you for this science and technology portion. Please match your answers and tell us in the comment below that how many questions in science and tech portion is correct. Thank you.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, hello everyone. So guys, now let's talk about the questions that came from the labor laws and social security, the economical portion of the paper. Okay. Question number 36, that is, which is not a currently existing scheme under EPF. Okay. So under EPF, which scheme is not there? And the options are EPF scheme of 1952, it is there. EDLI scheme of 1976, it is also the very much part of it. EPS of 1995 or family pension scheme. Guys, there is no family pension scheme incorporated under EPF Act. So your option D is the correct option. Okay. And the reason being is because the family pension scheme which is mentioned here, it is actually, or in fact, it was actually replaced by EPS scheme of 1995, which was already given in option C. Okay. So family pension has been replaced by EPS. Question number 37. The EPF Act does not allow the EPF Act does not apply to which cooperative society? Okay. Option A, less than 50 workers without par, less than 70 with par, more than 50 without par, or less than 20 without par. So guys, option A is correct, less than 50 workers without par. Your EPF Act does not apply to less than 50 workers without par. Next is, and you can see the explanation as well, it's the exemption that is given to less than 50 workers. Okay. Next is, Mr. X earns 20,000 per month. So his ESI contribution would be, see guys, the ESI contribution would be that employer is going to pay 3.25% and employee is going to pay 0.75%. So if you find out 3.25% of 20,000, it comes out as 650 and 0.75 comes out as 150. So option B is correct. Okay. So if you are aware of this percentage, that is 3.25 and 0.75, the question was an easy question. Now, next is, which is not an ESI benefit? So out of these four, which is not an ESI benefit? First is sickness, it is ESI benefit. Maternity, again, it is a benefit. Disablement or health benefit is not an ESI benefit. Okay. Why? Because in ESI, it is not mentioned clearly or explicitly that health benefit is incorporated or any such thing like health benefit is not mentioned at all under ESI benefits. That is why we take the option D. Okay. Then it is saying under Payment of Wages Act, which statements are correct? Option or statement 1, wages may be paid in coins. Okay. Statement 2, wage period can be weekly. Statement 3, in greater than 1000 employee firms, wages must be paid before 7th day. We have to tell that which statements are correct. So let's examine the statement. Wages may be paid in coins, very much. Yeah, right. Wages can be paid in coins. Wage period, if see there is a legal condition attached to it, all the payments of 2000 or less can be done in coins. Okay, so wages can be paid in coins, it is acceptable. Then wage period can be weekly, every week you can pay, this is also correct. Third is, in greater than 1000 employee firms, wages must be paid before 7th day. No, there is no such thing like that the firm has to be greater than 1000. This clause is not there. So option A, which is 1 and 2, is the correct option. Right, guys? Next question, question 41. Which deductions are allowed under Payment of Wages Act? First is For amenities, yes, this deduction is allowed. Recovery of advances, yeah, this is also allowed. And for cooperative, yes, this is cooperative societies is also allowed. So option 1, 2 and 3, or you can say statement 1, 2 and 3, all are correct. So option D is correct here. Okay, because all these three deductions are legally permitted. Next is loss of one eye is considered what under Employees Compensation Act. So if an employee loses one eye, blindness from one eye, it is considered as what? So statement 1, or sorry, option 1, permanent total disablement, no. B, permanent partial disablement. C, temporary partial disablement, no. Decided after medical exam, no. So option B is correct, that is permanent partial disablement. Next question, which industry is not a public utility under Industrial Disputes Act? So which industry is not a public utility? That's what we have to tell. One is chemical fertilizer, B is manufacturing aluminium, C is pyrites mining, all three are, by the way. Then tea plantation. Guys, tea plantation is not a public utility, okay? Option D correct here. Question 44. Supreme Court's triple test on definition of industry was in Hospital Mazdoor Sabha of 1960? No. Bangalore Water Supply versus Rajappa 1978? Yes, this option is correct. C and D is Jai Beer Singh. D is Bharti Airtel. These are incorrect. Okay, guys. Question 45. Compensation under Employees Compensation Act. Worker earns 12,000, dies. Factor is 159.80. So options are, how much he's going to get is 6,40,680, 8,30,700. See, you have to apply a bit of maths here. 50% of this you have to take, then into wages, into factor. So on doing so, you will get 9,58,800. Okay. Question 46. 6 weeks notice under ID Act applies to public utility workman strike, employers lockout in public utility. Third statement is all workman. So which is correct? So see guys, public utility workmen, that is the strike, is correct. Employers lockout in public utility is also correct. Statement 1 and 2 is correct. So let's look at the option. A is saying 3 only, no, this is wrong. 2 only, wrong. B is saying 1 only, wrong. Option C is correct. Next question, when is gratuity payable? Resign after 6 years, dies after 2 years, retires after 5 years. 1 is correct, 2 is correct, and 3 is also correct. So option 1, statement 1, 2 and 3 is correct. Option B is correct here. Question 48, not a right of registered trade union. Which of this is not a right of registered trade union? Political fund, membership at age 17, tortious acts immunity, or change employment contract? Option D is correct, that is change employment contract. It is not a right of a registered trade union. Fine. Question 49. When can a government servant not claim 26-week maternity benefit? The question is saying not claim. Okay. Option A, one child plus commissioning mother. Option B, one child plus surrogate. Option C, no child plus commissioning mother. Option D, no child plus miscarriage. Option B is correct. The surrogate thing, one child plus surrogate. Okay. Why? Because surrogate mothers, according to law, they get 12 weeks, not 26. They get 12 weeks. Okay. Next, question 50. nursing breaks under Maternity Benefit Act. Okay, 2 breaks plus rest interval, 2 breaks within rest interval, 3 breaks plus rest interval, or 1 break within rest interval. Option A is correct, that is 2 breaks plus rest interval. Now, economy and social security. Question 71. Regarding the scheme for promotion of registration of employers and employees, that is called SPRE 2025, which statements are correct? That's what we have to tell. Statement 1, approved by ESIC, and statement 2 is provides one-time opportunity for unregistered employers and employees, including contractual and temporary workers. Both these statements are correct. So option C, that is both 1 and 2 are correct. Question 72. Zero defect, zero effect is an initiative of which ministry? Option A, heavy industries. Option B, education. Option C, skill development and entrepreneurship. No, it is the initiative of MSME, guys. Okay. Question 73. Recent steps by EPFO. Two statements are again given. Auto settlement limit for advance claims increased from 1 lakh to 3 lakh. Statement 2, auto settlement first introduced during COVID-19. Both are correct. So option C is correct, both 1 and 2. Question 74, employment linked incentives, that is ELI schemes. Outlay of 1 lakh crore, no. Statement 2, requires establishments to hire additional employees to avail benefits. Yes, this is correct. So option B is correct here. Question 75, currency swap arrangements approved for 2024-2027 with SARC. It was approved with SARC. So option A is correct here. Okay, guys. Is direct question. Then accounts and commerce. Question 76. Principles of inventory valuation, that is cost or net realizable value, whichever is lower, is based on accrual concept, B is matching concept, C is money measurement concept, D is convention of conservatism. Option D is correct. Question 77, which is not a fundamental accounting assumption? Matching, going concern, this is consistency, accrual. Option A, this is not, matching is not a fundamental accounting assumption. Fine. Next is revenue expenditure is overhaul expenses of second-hand machinery. Option B, legal fees to acquire property. One is wrong, B is wrong. C is replacement of worn out portion of machine. Option C is correct. This is revenue expenditure. Question 79. Achha, by the way, if you don't know, so revenue expenditure is that expenditure which does not increase your asset nor does it reduce your, and when I say your, I mean government, it does not increase the you can say earning of the government, nor does it reduce the liability of the government. That is what revenue expenditure is. Anyway, when purchases of assets is treated as expense, purchase of asset is treated as expense. This is error of principle. Option A. 80. Correct accounting statement is reserve created is a charge against profits. No. Capital reserves are normally created out of distributable profits. No. General reserve used for specific purposes. No. Provision is a charge against profit. Option D is correct. Correct accounting procedure is option A, matching concepts. We have already discussed it. It is not. B, going concern? No. C is all nominal accounts balanced at year end. D, suspense account is permanent. No. All nominal accounts balanced at year end. Option C is correct. 82. Which one of the following is incorrect? That is, capital account has debit balance. Option B. Cash discount in a cash book. No. Option B is incorrect. Rent outstanding is personal account. No. Cash sales not recorded in sales. No. So option A is correct. That is, capital account has debit balance. Fine. 83. Operating profit formula is operating profit is, and options are given, net profit minus non-operating incomes plus operating expense. This is the correct option. This is the formula. Okay. Question 84. Cost generally not included in inventory. Administrative overheads, normal wastage, shortage cost, or cost of purchase. Guys, administrative overheads are not included. Question 85. Rent received in advance, rupees 2000, adjustment. It is debit P&L, credit rent, accounting they are talking of. Debit rent received, credit rent received in advance. C, debit rent received in advance minus credit rent received. And debit rent received in advance, comma, credit rent received. This is correct option. Option D, question 86. Principle of reducing insured losses is subrogation, utmost good faith, cooperation, or mitigation. You mitigate it, it gets reduced. 87. Not a contract of indemnity, fire insurance, life insurance, marine insurance, or motor insurance. Life insurance. It is saying contract of indemnity, right? Next is auditing and accounting. So here, question 88. Not correct about audit documentation. Option A is includes audit programs. B, audit file and documentation are same. C, summaries of significant matters included. D, may be recorded on paper electronics. So audit file and documentation are same. Option B is correct. Next, primary objective of vouching. Detects errors. B, evaluates internal control. C, verifies authenticity of transaction. Yeah, it verifies authenticity of transaction. D, assesses management performances. Option C is correct. Next is not objective of verification. Option A, check historical accuracy of accounts. B, verification of assets existence. C, verification of valuation of assets. D, verify authority of acquisition. Option D, that is verify authority of acquisition. Then social sector and economy. Question 91. Social protection coverage in India. So two statements are given. WSPR 2024-26 coverage doubled from 2021 to 24. This statement is correct, guys. And then more 65% of population covered by some social protection. This is also correct. So option C, which is both 1 and 2, is correct. Then classification of MSMEs. First is annual turnover, number of workers, investment in plant and equipment. All three are used. So option A is correct. That is 1, 2, and 3. Now fiscal health index 2025 sub indices. Quality of expenditure, yes. Fiscal prudence, yes. Debt sustainability, yes. Revenue mobilization, yes. Debt index, yes. So all 5 are correct. So option D, which says 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the correct option. Then services sector contribution to GVA 2024-25, 55% it is option D. Acha, GVA is gross value added method of finding GDP. Product method it is. Anyway. Then question 96, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana PMMY. With reference to PMMY, loan disbursal trends in Maharashtra, consider the following statements. Since the financial year 2015, the average loan size disbursed under PMMY in Maharashtra has more than doubled. Statement 2, the financial year 2016 recorded the highest amount of loan disbursal among all states in India. So which of the statement given above is are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, both one and two are correct. Okay. So option C was correct. Question 97, bioeconomy initiative with reference to India's bioeconomy and bio E3 initiative, consider the following statements. India's bioeconomy contributes about 4.25 to the national GDP. Statement 2, the Bio E3 initiative promotes regenerative biomanufacturing in alignment with India's net zero carbon emission goal. So which of the statement given above is are correct? So 1, 2, C, no, both 1 and 2 are correct. Option C is correct here. Okay. 98, developmental financial institutions from 1950s to 60s. Which of the following institutions were established in India during 1950s and 60s as development financial institutions, DFIs? So IFCI, yes, it was established. ICICI established. IDBI was also established. NAFBEC was not. So 1, 2 and 3 is correct. That is option A, 1, 2 and 3. 99, core inflation. With reference to core inflation, consider the following statement. It includes food prices. No, core inflation does not include food prices. It includes fuel and energy prices. Yes, it does. So option statement 2 is only correct. That is option B. Okay. So that's it in this portion, guys. I hope you understood that which statement and which options were correct. Thank you.